With all of this digital noise, we are losing our ability to focus.
In order to listen, you have to actively be engaged with the sound.
Enjoying it and hearing every nuance, every note of the music.
To understand its complexities, its depth, the more beneficial it will be to us. Music is a ubiquitous phenomenon, and we use it all the time, but we're not always really aware of it that much.
I often hear about how sad it is that many of the outlets for music today are compressed files like MP3s and so forth. And I don't think that's the problem. What's happening right now is music has become like a soundtrack, and it's a very low-level soundtrack. It basically provides some continuity for people in their lives, but they don't really sit and pay attention to the actual music. I think it's a sad thing in a way because it's become so ubiquitous. It's lent itself to becoming devalued in the marketplace. So there's so many aspects of music that provide so many different pleasures and emotions that relegating it to this background effect, in effect, has lessened its impact.
There's so much information and content that people are expected to consume that they feel very overwhelmed by this overabundance of choice. Not only are they consuming more content, but they're using more devices simultaneously to do that, which leads to an environment where you can't ever focus on one thing, because while you're watching television, you're also on your smartphone engaging on social media. This is creating an environment of constant stimulation. Constant stimulation not only is increasing stress and this feeling of overwhelm, but it's actually impacting our ability to focus and concentrate and deep dive on highly cognitive tasks. Many people report that they now have difficulty concentrating on a long-form article or on a book.
So passive listening is when the music is just a background noise. It's an accompaniment to your activity, so you're not really focused on all the melody, the harmony, the lyrics. Active listening is when it becomes the primary focus. So you've turned off all the background noise. You're focusing on the music, the experience. You may be listening to the melody, the lyrics. Perhaps you're listening to different lines in the music, the bass line, the trumpet, the guitar accompaniment, and you're really focused on all the musical elements, and it's emotionally hitting you more directly.
I think we are at a critical point in time right now where it's important to start to let people know that there is a difference between hearing and listening, and that difference needs to be talked about, and especially the younger generation needs to have a experience, or have the experience that we had listening to music for its own sake. The best artists in the world are trying to create an emotional arc from the beginning of a composition to the end, and unless you're actively paying attention to that emotional arc, you're not going to get it.
Music is a tool that we develop to manage our emotions. It's a resource that we can use to bring us in a happy mood, in a sad mood, to relieve stress, to accompany social events. So it is very, very powerful. And if we use it consciously and do it well, I believe that we are more healthier on a mental level in the end. So it has emotional impact on us, but it's also another aspect of music, which is that it belongs to our social identity. It helps us to express something about ourselves. It allows us to place ourselves somewhere in society, and that's also a very important function.
When I was brought up and when I was younger, the idea of listening, active listening, was pretty much the way we listened to music. We didn't have phones or earbuds or things like that. You had a room that you would go into with a bunch of friends, and you would sit down and listen to music for a couple of hours, and that was truly active listening. Research, a great deal of research has shown that when your eyes are closed, you experience about 70% more emotional activity in the emotional centers of the brain, the amygdala, than you do when your eyes are open, listening to the same piece of music. You know, when you're in a concert hall, it's a darkened room. It's part of that experience.
People can listen better, first of all, by getting rid of all the distractions. Turn off your phone, turn off your laptop, turn off the lights, close your eyes, and just focus on just the sound, and avoid all the distractions that can take away from the experience. If you're not at home, you're on a plane or in the workplace, then you have a lot of background noise, and you can purchase headphones that provide a good seal that isolate you from the noise. You can buy headphones that have active noise cancellation that will remove much of the noise, so they can just focus 100% on the sound.
One of the things that people can do in order to improve their capacity and their enjoyment of content consumption is to deliberately create space where they focus on one stream of content at a time. I find that this works particularly well with music because it also gives your brain a bit of a rest, since much of the content that we consume through screens is text or is visual, so very eye-focused. By shifting focus to audio content, it gives you a chance to create that little bit of space of calm, to stop the constant stimulation, and at the same time to practice using those mental muscles that will eventually give you a higher ability to concentrate for longer periods of time.
It starts first with actually appreciating the fact that there's music there, that it's a piece that's art, to appreciate the work that people have done in that, and take your time to engage with it. Look for the right context. Don't just treat it as something that's there on the side, and just take some time to just listen to music and create the right environment, the right listening environment. Get some good headphones or speakers, I would say. That will help a lot. And take your favorite song and listen through it, listen to it carefully. Try to listen to the structure of it. What is happening there? What did people put into that? And how does it sound like? What does it remind you of? What does it mean to you? So these are the things that people should be engaging with.
Music at its root is an emotional activity. If done actively and in pursuit of the music, it often provides emotional contentment and insight that passive listening simply does not provide. And there is no other way of getting it. It's not like you can substitute the active listening process with something else that provides the same type of feelings. There just aren't any. So from my perspective, it's a very important process, not only for your own pleasure, but your human beingness. There's no other species that has a musical tradition. But by passively listening, you're missing that tradition.
By strengthening our active listening skills, we will receive a multitude of benefits. First and foremost, our ability to enjoy all sorts of content will be increased. It's not just listening to music, but also reading a book or a long-form article, even watching a movie. So many people just have lost the ability to sit and focus and concentrate on one thing at a time. The second thing is that active listening can act as a calming technique for people that feel anxious or stressed or overwhelmed. By creating the space and focusing just on that particular piece of music or on that song, it forces you to be present. In fact, it acts like a meditation exercise almost. And finally, by doing the first two things, by being calm and by having the ability to focus, you'll start to see benefits in your professional life as well. It will increase your performance and your efficiency and your productivity, helping you get more things done.
So music has many benefits in terms of your health, your well-being, your mental state. It makes you happy, it makes you relaxed, and it makes your life much better. It also creates pleasure. In a sense, we're addicted to music, and studies have shown that it actually produces dopamine, a chemical in your brain that's associated with pleasure, arousal, and reward. And it's much the same effect that drugs and coffee and chocolate and sex produce as well. So music makes us feel good.
Music is such a big part of our life. It has been for centuries, for millennia. It's powerful, it's meaningful, it's part of our identity, and this is why we have to appreciate it and engage with it and take it serious.